I'm now joined by the former Labour Minister, Bill Rammell. Bill, welcome to the show. Always a pleasure. So Keir Starmer not even trying to hide it there. He's in Washington talking to EU member state prime ministers from Germany, from Sweden. Justin Trudeau, other Liberals on the world stage, want Britain to get closer to the EU. He's taking his European minister with him. He's taking David Lammy, and they want to talk about getting closer to the EU. So he's in Washington, but really, is it all about Brussels?
No, it's not, but it's a return to grown-up politics and government, to the international arena, and a Labour government that is seeking to work with and cooperate with our partners, using the leverage of a huge parliamentary majority, which means we probably, amongst leading international nations in the West, got the most stable government of any of them, and taking a leadership position. Now, that does mean a reset of our relations with the European Union, not overturning Brexit, not returning to the single market, not returning to the customs union, but having a structured dialogue with the European Union, working on defence and security cooperation, working to tackle the shared challenge of illegal migration, and in a host of other areas. But what I thought was really striking was then the meeting with President Biden, where he was saying, from the US perspective, given that hugely important special relationship between the UK and the US, the UK being closer to Europe, although not part of it, in a sense acts as a bridge to the US, so that we can work in cooperation. So I think it's very positive. We're facing huge challenges internationally, and we need to work together and resolve these.
But Joe Biden, by any reckoning, has been one of the most anti-British presidents in history. We've been at the back of the queue. It's all fair and well saying get closer to the European Union, but we Brexited. That's not on the cards. And there could be a change of management in America, Bill Rammell, at the moment. Even Joe Biden's closest advisors, even his biggest donors, even his celebrity chums like George Clooney are saying stand aside because they fear he could lose to Donald Trump. And then what would that mean for the special relationship with the Labour Party and America? David Lammy called Donald Trump a fascist sympathiser and a misogynist.
Well, look, there's a whole host of politicians across the political spectrum who've said critical things of Donald Trump because of his track record when he was the last president and his actions since then. But, I can say this in a way that Keir can't. I actually hope that Joe Biden, who I've been a huge fan of, steps down and another Democratic contender takes on Trump in the presidential election. I think what the debate exposed in terms of Joe's frailties and limitations, I think, was a turning point. We'll see what happens over the next few weeks. But whoever is in the White House, that special relationship between the UK and the US will be enduring, will be important. And yes, Brexit happened, but we need a reset. Look at the polling evidence. People don't want to overturn Brexit, but they do want us to have a better and a closer relationship within the European Union, where it's manifestly in our mutual interests. And I think that's what you're going to see the Labour government doing, led by Keir Starmer. The opportunity of the Brexit review, which is part of the existing agreement in 2025, will be critical. I mean, David Lammy has also talked about maybe as a first step having, rather than a treaty, a political declaration, which is easier to deliver, so that we can practically cooperate on things like illegal migration, defence and security cooperation, mutual recognition of professional qualifications, breaking down some of the barriers to trade in the chemicals industry, where you need dual registration at the moment, which is hugely burdensome for businesses. Agricultural product reform, so that we work better and we trade better within the European Union. And if we do that and we're closer to the EU but not part of it, I think that helps us bridge the Atlantic in the relationship with the US and the wider international Western community, where we need to be working together and be resolute in the face of what are enormously dangerous threats from Russia, from China, Iran and North Korea.
Bill Rammell, I'm smiling because you're speaking the language that exactly people were predicting before Sir Keir Starmer was elected as the Prime Minister. We won't get a second referendum, but David Lammy will be doing political declarations without the public having a say, doing new deals on defence, on all the things you just mentioned, and many people feared that there would be a slow reversal of Brexit, death by 1,000 treaties. I think that's what you just confirmed there. Bill Rammell, thank you very much for joining us on the show.
It wasn't, Martin. It's about working in our mutual national interest.
You're talking about signing political declarations without the electorate having a say. That is slowly reversing Brexit without having the courage to put it to a referendum. That's what a lot of people said, and that's what this very much sounds like, Bill.
Look at the polls, Martin. The people want us to have a better relationship.
Sir Keir Starmer said for the last month, the only poll that counts is election day. The only poll that counted was the Brexit referendum, and that has been done. And this sounds like a slow reversal of Brexit.
We're not overturning
piecemeal
that,
contracts, Bill.
There is no reversal of Brexit. There's no return to the customs union or the single market. But we live in the real world where we have
there just be all these deals on defence, on illegal migration, that are legally bounding without the electorate having a say. That's what you want.
It's about the British national interest, which is served by working with the biggest trading bloc, which is on our doorstep.
Yeah, we still do. And imports and exports have increased since Brexit. This isn't about that, Bill. This is about doing piecemeal deals. As you know, as we said all along, it's a slow walk towards rejoin. That's what a lot of people are saying. Bill Rammell, it's always a pleasure to have your company on the show.
Do you know what? I might privately want that, but it's not going to happen, and it's not going to happen under this Labour government.
Well, I think we're seeing it in the full light of day now as the weeks and days go by. Bill Rammell, we'll talk about this, I'm certain, at some point in the future, because this one will not go away. Thank you very much.